Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another reaction video for today. And I had a lot of people tell me I should watch this man right here, Wendigoon, when I watched the Man in Cave video yesterday from Internet Historian. He was in it. He played our boy Floyd. And a lot of people said I should watch his content. I had one recommendation that actually did interest me, so shout outs to the one that made a recommendation. This is the Conspiracy Theory Iceberg. I do like me an iceberg. So if you don't know what iceberg is, it's just kind of like a... Honestly, I've watched so many iceberg videos, and I'm still not 100% sure what an iceberg is. Because everyone I watch doesn't really explain what it is. They just kind of rattle things off. But it's like it's almost like a, kind of like a tier. But it's like the tip of the iceberg is like the big thing, and then it gets darker. Like, I think the tip of the iceberg is supposed to be the thing that's like the most well-known thing, right? Or something like that. And then as it further goes down the iceberg, it gets way darker and way weirder and way more obscure. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. I've watched so many pyramid videos, or iceberg, sorry. I'm looking at the pyramid. I watched like near ones, and I watched one for oh, what the fuck was it? I watched one for something else. It was like a 3-hour video. How am I going to forget it? Well, I watched a near one. So anyway, let's get to it. The Conspiracy Theory Iceberg Part 1. I think there's a lot of these videos. So, and everybody said we should watch them. So I might take a break at one point from this series and watch other videos. But his videos are really long. So it's going to be one of those things where like maybe I'll do one here and there. So anyway, let's watch this one. I am interested. And we'll get a good feel for his content. So link in the description. Go check it out yourself if you haven't. I'm sure you have, but just in case you didn't. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Boy, am I excited. So there's this image floating around for a while.
I'm never going to not look at
Iceberg Conspiracy.
All right, there's no way. I'm just going to say right here, there's no way I'm going to be able to look at him and not think of Floyd. There's a Force Awakens poster.
And for those of you that don't know, it is a picture of an iceberg, and on it there are several separate tiers that gauge conspiracy theories.
Wow, he's actually explaining it. This is the first time I've watched one of these where they actually explain it.
How known they are to how unknown they are.
All right, so I was right.
Actually, throw it up now so you can look at it.
Okay,
as
I was
you can
right.
see, it is huge. There are several variations, but I think this one is the best, not only because it is the most well structured with different tiers and specifics for what each tier means, but it also is the most comprehensive. As I tried to find research for this, I'm telling you there was none. Like, no one had done a full breakdown of it. There's a couple people who did 1 or 2, and then after researching it, people were saying that everyone who did full reviews of it was having their videos taken down. So we'll see what happens. So I decided who better to do it than me.
Oh, we're gonna get
Technically a lot of people. That doesn't matter.
Oh, we're dead.
What I'm gonna do is, because this thing is huge.
Is this guy still alive? I know he just made a video recently. Is he all right? Did they find him? Did the Illuminati get him?
Every one of these phrases can lead you down an entire rabbit hole of research and investigation.
I don't know anything about anything, like when it comes to anything, period. But also the conspiracy theories, I don't know anything.
Or well-known stuff like UFOs or Bigfoot. But as you get into some of these later ones, it gets creepy. Like, you drag over some pretty scary ones like human creepy flesh markets or children trapped in floors and things such as.
Oh, it was like Jumanji.
Really far into it, like tier 9, tier 10 stuff, it gets like God's ego death, or the universe was created as a test, and things like that.
Oh, yeah, like Matrix.
Like these whole networks and stories behind.
Not that that was a test.
But just
simulation theory.
And I'll go ahead and say right now, none of what I'm talking about means I believe it, per se. I'm simply conveying what the conspiracy is because I think it's cool.
Covering his ass so they don't come get him.
So what I'm going to do here
That's
is...
smart. I don't believe anything either. Ever.
A quick run through of the tier 1, and then the next video will be tier 2, and etc.
I believe in whoever is the most powerful being out there right now. I don't want them to come for me.
The more crazy they get. So this one's pretty much to whet your appetite. Although there is a lot of cool stuff at this tier that I learned in research for this video. Some of the ones we'll get into in later videos are absolutely crazy, like the City of Broken Candles or the Valley of Headless Men and things such as. But like I said,
where the heads at?
The entire chart, so we're starting with tier 1. The title and description for tier 1 is Crazy Head, and the description reads, mainstream conspiracies and unsolved mysteries. Most of this stuff is well documented and known to a good portion of the Western citizens. A lot of common theories may be grouped in broader terms, or may not even appear on the chart at all considering their meaning and popularity. Also, quick
I want to read it.
First tier,
Nice shit. God damn it. Fake news, cryptozoology, creatures, big pharma, Atlantis, Nostradamus, climate denial, chemtrails, vaccines, UFOs is a little blurry. So media control, mainstream effect. What did I say? Mandatory. I can't. All right, I'm not gonna read these. Never mind. Yeah, a lot of these are blurry. Stonehenge, I see.
Also, quick disclaimer on this first tier. This doesn't really apply to the others, but some of these are so well known, or you've heard so many times, I'm not even going to cover them. Like fake news or Bigfoot or UFOs. Like, we all get it. I don't need to go into detail about them. But without further ado, let's get into this, and thank you for watching. First up, we have Big Pharma. Most of you know about this. It's pretty much just...
Oh, good font. I use that font too. Good font.
That pharmaceutical companies suppress vaccines and cures that are made in order to make money off of treatment. Next, we have Atlantis. Original records of Atlantis date back to Greek times, I believe.
The Lost Empire.
Athens, a continent located somewhere in the
Shout-out.
Ocean.
Good movie.
And since they couldn't have got to North America, that would require there to be something in between that has since disappeared or sank. Next up, we have one of the first ones
Nostradamus.
My bad.
My bad.
Nostradamus was an old philosopher who came up with several of the constellations and discovering the night sky. And it is believed
he discovered the night sky. Nobody else looked up.
His predictions came true later, such as World War II and the Great London Fire. However, from doing research, this is...
Did he predict America? I bet he did. Land of the free. Fucker.
Kind of BS.
That's what I thought. Nostradamus. Nostradamus.
For example, the London Fire. He said that there would be bad things happening in London, and then a bad thing happened in London. So
wow.
The Mandela Effect.
Oh,
Most of you are probably familiar with this.
Looney Tunes, yeah.
It essentially...
you know, as a kid, I always wondered why it was spelled tunes, like Tunes. I mean, there was always music associated with.
Actually says that there are
Looney Tunes,
parallel universes that cross over with each other in minor ways that we're not aware of.
You know what? I'm going to say I believe this.
Bernstein
I do.
Bears.
Berenstain Bears.
May be surprised to know that it's actually the Bernstein Bears, and that several discrepancies like that exist.
And they call it the Mandela Effect. I'm assuming he's going to talk about the actual Nelson Mandela. That's why they call it that.
Like the Monopoly Man has no monocle, and yada yada yada. This is a cool one. It's very weird. It goes on for itself.
I never knew the thing about the Monopoly Man having a monocle. I must be from the Berenstain universe, even though I do remember as a kid it being called Steen, but I don't remember it being called Looney Tunes, Tons, and I do not remember the Monopoly Man having a monocle, even though that would make sense. Not just because he's an old dude with a mustache. It's called Monopoly, and you have a monocle. It would make sense. Just
so if you're interested, check it out. Next is Malaysian Flight 370, which disappeared somewhere over the Indian Ocean. The conspiracy states that there is a U.S.
He didn't talk about the Nelson Mandela connection there, which is it's just people thought that Nelson Mandela was killed in jail, like back in the whenever he was in jail. I don't remember. Was that like the 80s or something? That's probably earlier. But yeah, he said in the jail. He did go to jail, but he wasn't killed in jail. But everybody thought they heard he was murdered in jail, or he just died in jail, or something like that. But he wasn't. He died like it was like 90s when he died.
Likely the plane was either hijacked and flying towards it, or flew too close to it, to which the U.S. military shot it down and covered up all evidence of it. Although, practically, I feel that there's a lot of moving parts in that couldn't be kept secret for so long. The GMO
conspiracy. I think it just went down and they couldn't find it. Like, it's a big ocean, so.
Regards GMOs that are in several foods, from fast food and markets and things such as, which are used in this conspiracy to cause food shortages and hunger in people. So essentially, the whole get the customer addicted idea. Orbs is rather vague. From what I figured out, it's referring to the orbs that are seen in photographs when taken in the sunlight.
Okay.
So, dust, particles.
Yeah, dust, exactly.
But the conspiracy says that it is a paranormal or supernatural occurrence. So, yeah. The New World Order.
Paranormal
dust.
For
those that aren't familiar, in the Book of Revelations in the Bible, it details that there will be a one world government or one world order in the end times. And this will be in much more specific detail as we get later on into the iceberg. But at this tier, it's basically just referring to the idea that all governments want to come together to make one government. I know I keep advertising later into the iceberg, but there's good reason for it. Some of the ones down there are
Gets fucked up.
insane, and get into specifics of how one world government can be achieved and things such as. So stay tuned. Next is the Nibiru Cataclysm.
I'm sorry,
Nibiru
what?
is a planet, or also known as Planet X, that was predicted by a
Dimension
scientist
X.
in
It's
2003
TMNT.
to collide with the Earth in 2003. So pretty well debunked. But the term is still used to apply to an idea that a meteor or any other body could hit the planet one day and kill us all. Now we get into
I'm sure that's gonna happen.
the Bilderberg meetings.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Bilderberg meetings, but where did I hear that? I think Bill Burr always talks about these, where they just like meet and fuck or whatever.
That really does happen every year, in which Western economists meet with European governments to discuss capitalism in the West, from all the evidence I could find. Obviously, there's several theories that come from this, especially since the fact that the press isn't allowed and there are no notes to be taken. So a group of world elites talking behind closed doors in high places. Nice. Transhumanism is more of a philosophy than a theory, really. It applies a lot to anarchist rings, oddly enough, and it's essentially the idea that humans can be further expounded on or bettered through augmentation of computer parts and like cybernetics and things such as BEK. Black-eyed kids.
It's like some black-eyed kids. That's a really weird. That's weird. That's a weird. Is that the Muppet Babies of the Black-Eyed Peas?
Is a recurring.
It's just a weird theory name. Black-eyed kids.
Phenomenon in the supernatural community of small children appearing with blacked out eyes. You can follow this rabbit trail.
If I saw a kid with blacked out eyes, I would give him another black eye. You know what I mean?
Who appear whenever tragedy happens. So people chalk it up to extraterrestrials or what have you. Next is Antarctica, which there is a slew of Antarctic conspiracy theories.
Oh yes?
Everything ranging from giant holes appearing in the middle of Antarctica to government bases being down there.
There's a monster, an alien that could shapeshift and murder people, but only Kurt Russell can take him out.
Where the world elites hide. I mean, you could spin forever on this. So moving on. Next is the basement tapes. For those of you that don't know, before the Columbine shooting, the two shooters made a series of videos detailing what they were going to do, how they were going to do it, and generally talking about how they hate people in their school and there needs to be a.
How's this a conspiracy theory?
These tapes still exist, although the conspiracy resides in no one knows who has them. However, randomly portions of them will appear online, leaving people to believe that they're out there, maybe exchanging hands, but no one knows where they're at.
No. I don't like this anymore.
So we've got Operation Northwoods.
The fuck is that?
Rather well-documented case, but essentially during the Cuban Missile Crisis, there was reports put out by the CIA that said to warrant a war with Cuba, they should commit acts of terrorism against U.S. citizens and then blame them on Cuba to justify a war. Which...
What?
Yep. Next up is PSYOPs.
Yeah.
This is also well documented. Just the fact that...
PSYOPs. That's my favorite PS2 game.
The U.S. government, as well as other governments, is known to employ psychological warfare, from noises to conditions and supply rations and things like that. The Vela incident occurred off the coast of South Africa in 1979.
That's not even like a conspiracy theory. That most likely happens. Come on.
What happened is a system of satellites known as the Vela satellites captured two back-to-back giant flashes for seemingly no reason. However, after reading into it, it was probably just an unsanctioned nuclear test because this satellite system had caught them before and they looked similar, and the whole conspiracy is just because there was no scripted test that day. So yeah, probably just nuke testing. Next we have giants. While this one seems later tiers get into it more specifically, but essentially in the Old Testament...
I wonder if he's going to talk about people think Cyclops exists because of elephant skulls. That's one of my favorite ones, where people think Cyclops exists because of elephant skulls. Like if you see the skull of an elephant, it looks like the middle part is like a giant eye, where the eye should be in the skull, but that's where the trunk, that's where actually. So people think Cyclops exists because of those, but they're just elephant skulls.
The Bible,
that was one of my favorite ones.
Several references to giants happening, and obviously today
giants happening.
To be any.
Are you telling me Lady D doesn't exist?
However, this conspiracy, as we get into it later, applies to the deep state and cover-ups and things such as, so I don't want to spoil any of it yet, but this is a good mention that smart, so to speak. We'll get to it later. Padma McCord is an interesting one.
Who the fuck?
There's a lady online by the name of Padma McCord who owns, for some reason, thousands, if not millions, of URLs. Which, looking at this on the outside, you'd say, oh, it's some company using the name or whatever. Until you go to the URLs and it's just pictures of her face photoshopped onto other women for some reason. And every one of these
I don't like that.
has millions of backlinks to other websites, which someone who knows tech may know more about it than I do.
Why?
I have no clue why. It's
why?
The Elisa Lam.
Oh, no, I don't like this one. No, don't show the video. The one where she like moves weird and then she this. I'm just gonna. I think this is the one, and he's gonna explain it, but I still want to. I want to prove that I know it. I think this is the one where she like moves weird in the elevator, and then she walks out, and then I think they found her body years like. Is that a spider? Oh no, I'm already freaked out, bro. I don't need no spiders. There was a spider web on my I have a statue here. Anyway, and then they found her body a few days later inside one of the water tanks. I should be watching this. I'm too much of a pussy.
For those who haven't trolled around on creepy internet videos like I have, you may not know who Elisa Lam is, but it is a story that is worth your time. She was a college student, I believe, at the Hotel Cecile in California, who for some reason, it's seen in security camera videos, runs onto an elevator, freaking out, keeps jerking around, thinking something's following her, runs to her room, and is never seen alive again until she's found 3 days later in the water tank of the hotel.
Yeah,
there was never any evidence of a killing.
Fuck
no one
that.
has ever found a connection to it. And it is one of the wildest videos ever to watch, knowing that she was never followed and there was never evidence of anyone following her.
Don't show it.
It's really strange. I'll leave you to look into this one.
Thank you.
It was one of the first videos I remember that
I don't want to see that picture. That is legitimately one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, I hate it.
Creepy, dark web, whatever. The Terra Calico picture. This one's just sad. There was a woman named Terra Calico who's suspected to be abducted in the early 90s, and then a few months later, a picture of her bound and gagged turned up in a parking lot around the area she was kidnapped. It leaves a lot of questions of why the picture was left there and what it means, especially since it was just
I don't want to watch the rest of the video or the series.
But like I said, this is just
it's gonna get weirder from here. Fuck this. It's
sad. The Mad Gasser of Mattoon. I have never heard of this one before until researching it. But apparently in the 40s, there was a series of gas attacks that occurred in Mattoon, Illinois, which investigators mostly chalked up to mass hysteria and people who
if there's gas, I guess,
left their fuel lines running. But everyone who it happened to, which was dozens of cases, claimed that it was an individual that ran up to them and attacked them with invisible gas. So,
well, you mean invisible gas?
Have fun with that one. COINTELPRO. Like Operation
I'm sorry, what?
Northwoods, this one's pretty well
COINTELPRO
documented and known at this point, but essentially, before the Patriot Act became a thing, it's evidence of the FBI illegally spying on U.S. citizens.
Why was this the one video I had to watch with headphones on? I don't know why the fuck I did that, because now I'm like creeped out, because I'm like, there might be somebody fucking trying to murder me. I can't hear them.
And information, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, government bad. The Mao-Yale connection. This one pretty much just says that the old...
Wait, I kind of missed that last one. I'm sorry.
Before the Patriot Act became a thing, it's evidence of the FBI illegally spying on U.S. citizens to gain information, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, government bad. The Mao-Yale connection. This one pretty much just says that the old communist emperor of China, Mao Zedong, was in secret connections with Yale University in ways to students and receive funding from them and vice versa. From what I've seen, it's mostly just conspiracy jargon, but you can check it out for yourself. The I-70 killer. This is referring in the spring of 1992, there was a series of 6 murders of gas station clerks on the I-70 interstate, and no one was ever caught, but some sketches were given. From everything I've found, this is simply just a serial killer string that went unsolved. The Majestic 12 is a reference to a board member of 12 people put together by Harry Truman in 1947 to recover all alien spacecraft information and things such as.
Why?
This relates back to Area 51, although it's a bit more specific in saying that there's a committee, so to speak.
Oh,
that
of course, there's always a committee.
Anything that happens with extraterrestrials. Also, Area 51 was also in this first tier list, but like I said, it's one of those that's so obvious there's no reason for me to talk about it. Red Squads are, again, a pretty well-documented government thing that during the whole Red Scare of the 50s and 60s,
I've heard
there
of this
were
one.
groups of U.S. police officers whose sole purpose
I think I've heard of this one. I'll let him explain this one because I've heard Red Squads
to
before.
hunt down communist sympathizers and arrest them for whatever.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
It was really hard to find information on because it's such a vague title. But given its italics, I think it's referring
it's called
to
The
a
Secret,
book
so the fuck.
that essentially is a self-help book that says, thinking certain thoughts deliberately will change the course of your life. So, not sure why it's on there, but, you know, we're still in tier 1, so whatever. Acupuncture.
Huh. I don't agree with that one. I don't think that's true, but there are times where it's not the same thing, but there's times where I think of something that I haven't thought of in a long time, and then it happens. I'm sure that happens to other people. Like, you'll think, oh, like, I haven't really got, like, a text from somebody in a long time, and then it'll just happen. You know, like, oh, I haven't talked to that guy in, like, 2 years, and he just texted me randomly. Oh, that's weird. I'm just using that example. Nobody ever talks to me, but still, you know, I don't know.
Is an
like, oh, I haven't seen I don't know, I don't know, I can't even think of anything. I haven't seen a dog ever in my life. Oh, like this dog. I'm very sheltered. Anyway,
this relates back to the big pharma I mentioned at the beginning, and essentially says that acupuncture heals several diseases, but it is purposely put down and not given attention by mainstream media and doctors because it would put them out of business. So it's an interesting rabbit hole to go down.
I'm sure acupuncture does something. Oh hell yeah, Max Headroom incident. I love Max Headroom. I just don't get that last one. Acupuncture is people still do acupuncture. I thought it was more like to like loosen up. Like I thought it had something to do with your like sweat glands or some shit. Like you do that to like really like open up your skin pores or some shit. I always thought that. I don't know why. That's probably completely wrong. But
the Max Headroom incident is something that happened in 1987 in Chicago when 2 broadcast stations suddenly cut out and cut to a video of a man wearing a Max Headroom costume, which is a character from British television, who began talking random jargon and swearing and then had someone spank him on camera, and then the broadcast cut out. What's interesting is that there's never been anyone named a suspect, there was never any evidence found, and it's pretty much become a whole Reddit thread trying to figure out who this person was, what happened.
It was Matt Frewer.
So
it was
an interesting mystery to go on, but
I think that's the guy that plays Max Headroom, right? Matt Frewer? I think that's his name.
From everything I could find,
I love it was just him. He's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this.
2 guys messing with the media. And then for the last one I'm going to cover in tier 1, we have the UN agenda. This is pretty much just relates to Agenda 21 and other conspiracies, which I'll talk about more in later tiers, but the idea that the UN is trying to build itself towards a new world order. So that is the end of tier 1. Like I said, there are 10 tiers, and they just get crazier from here. Yeah. Everything I just covered is stuff that you can simply search conspiracy theory and find information on, but the ones I'm going to get into after this video are, you've got to do some digging, you have to know what boards to look at to figure out, people won't talk about it, and other really interesting things, and it gets pretty spooky. So stay tuned, let me know if you like this video.
Yeah, Wendigoon needs to watch what he's saying. He'll be Wendigoon if he keeps fucking doing this shit.
But a special thank you to the top tiers. Thank you, Kayla.
Nice.
Peth. Thank you, Eddie.
Oh yeah, Peth.
Benjamin.
Tim.
Thank you, Publius. And
Publius. That sounds like Morbius.
As always.
So shout out.
Thank you all for watching. Like I said before, this was kind of a trailer. I want to put this out quick so I can get you interested because it just shoots downhill from here. And I am excited. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you in part 2. Bye.
This will be actually, god damn, 36 minutes. This will be an interesting thing to watch during October, actually. So I think it's perfect that why you gotta have that thumbnail? What is that? What the fuck am I even looking at there? That might be a good thing to watch during October, like creepy Easter eggs and shit. I'm just gonna warn you, I'm probably not gonna. I was trying to watch more videos with the headset on because I know The audio is much better, but I'm just gonna warn you, I don't think I can do that with the future ones. So first of all, I don't like wearing a headset anyway because it makes my head feel weird. But also, yeah, it's too scary, spooky. My picture of the original design of Sonic only helped me so far. That's probably more disturbing than anything he said, honestly, but I love him. Anyway, there you go. That's the Conspiracy Theory Iceberg Part 1 from Wendigoon. That was a good start, though. There's some things I didn't hear about there. Actually, a lot of things I didn't hear about. That if I want to, I'll look it up. I don't want to. The end. Bye. Link in the description.